Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to another video in this series where I'm talking about automotive relays and how they can be used in custom applications, how versatile they are, really. The first two videos that I talked about before this video, they're more basic videos, a basic relay operation. Now we're getting into slightly more complex things, and that's building up for the next few videos where they're just kind of getting slightly more complex. You don't have to watch this video before you watch the next one, but there are some things that are talked about in this one that are also talked about in the next video as well. So the next video after this one, it stands on its own. I'm actually talking about how you can tap into your car's turn signal system, and when you're tapping into it near the bulbs, then it's actually a positive on-off signal while your bulbs are turning on and off. In this video, I'm actually going to be talking about tapping into either a positive or a negative signal and how you can do that, and how that can be used to power on a device. If you want to see the inside of a relay, how it actually works and how it does its thing, I have a video popping up in the bottom left here where I actually have a relay taken apart, the cover of it taken off, and I have it connected to my car, and I'm triggering it by hand instead of, in this diagram, I have the relay triggered by a ground wire signal, by a negative signal. So click that video if you want to see more of the inside of the relay, how it's working, how it's coming on, turning off. And if you want to understand more about how the relay works, in the first video I have in this video series, I explain more of the internal operation of the relay. In this video, I'll just be touching on it and explaining to you what you need to know, really. So click any one of these videos that are popping up, or see any of the videos in the description to see my other relay videos. And this video is actually similar to the next video, even though the next video after this one is a little bit more complex, and I'm actually tapping into the turn signal system, into a positive wire going to one of the bulbs, and I'm using that to trigger the relay. And you can check that video out if you want and see what I'm doing there. Alright, so jumping into the basics of this. First of all, any positive connection that you have coming off of something, you need to fuse it. So there needs to be a fuse here. I don't have it drawn on the diagram, but it is very important that you fuse both of those wires, or put them on a circuit that already has a fuse in it. So pin 30 is where your power comes in. So here, if you follow this little light blue wire, it goes straight to the battery, and that's where your power comes in. So you want to wire that straight to the battery, straight to your power source, whatever your power source is. If you're tapping into your fuse box, whatever you're tapping into, that's where your power is going in to the relay. Pin 85 here is what also runs straight to the battery. So this circuit is getting power and giving power to this electromagnet. And then pin 86 down here, whenever it gets a negative signal from whatever it is, if it's coming off of the car's computer, if you found a negative connection in your fuse box, something that's ground switched that comes out of your fuse box, if you're tapping into your cooling fan system, and the cooling fan system has a negative switch that gives a ground, and then it cuts the ground off, it gives a ground, it cuts the ground off. Then as that ground cuts on and off, it powers this electromagnet, and as that electromagnet powers, it opens that gate. So right now it's in the off position, and now I'm moving it over to the on position. Off, on, off, on. So that's pins 30 through 86. Now these, you can pair those together. You can kind of try to just understand those together, and actually you can flop 85 and 86. So if 85 is where you have your positive wire connected, like I have here, then you can make 86 negative. Or if for whatever reason you actually wire 85 as your negative, then you can make 86 positive. It doesn't matter either way, as long as one is positive and the other is negative. All this is an electromagnet. And this half of the relay is completely separate from the other half of the relay. So pin 87, that's what you're wiring to your device that you're going to be powering. If it's fog lights, or if you added roof lights to your SUV and you want those to come on the same time as your fog lights, if you added extra turn signals to your car, brighter turn signals to your car, you want to be more visible, whatever it is that you added. Whenever this negative signal is triggered by whatever it is that was initially triggering that device, then pin 87 is now going to take this connection all the way from the inside, straight from the battery or straight from your power source, whatever that power source is. So whatever was connected to pin 30 is now carrying through to pin 87. And this would stay energized until this goes into the off position. And when that goes into the off position, it's no longer on anymore. It'll shut off whenever whatever the system was that was getting power that you tapped into in your stock system, whenever that shuts off, this is going to shut off as well. Okay, now we're flipping things around and we're giving this a positive signal instead of your negative signal, because you remember we had the negative signal drawn down there, and that was cutting this ground connection on and off. So now we've flipped it over to where it's getting a positive signal instead, and I've separated this wire that was coming from the battery like I had in the last diagram. So my positive signal here would be coming off of a fuse box, or would be coming off of a turn signal like I have laid out in the video following this one. And that positive signal, once this electromagnet gets that positive connection from this, it already has ground through pin 86. So the electromagnet gets power, and when it gets power, this little gate switches from this to this. And now when it switches over to that, I'm getting a positive signal from the battery, and I'm energizing this device that needs power. And like I said, if it's fog lights, if it's extra turn signals, if it's whatever it is, this is now getting power. Now this is a 4-pin relay that I'm talking about. And there's also, if you wanted to make it slightly more complex, and again, I talk about that in the video following this one if you want to follow through and watch that. But there's a 5-pin relay that also exists that's exactly like this one, with the addition of pin 87A that comes off of this. Pin 87A is an alternate that comes off of 87. Now there's a few different types of 5-pin relays that are also this Bosch style relay. There's some that have dual pin 87 on the bottom, and there's some that have one pin 87, another pin 87A. Pin 87A is basically when the relay is in the off position. This device that's hanging off of pin 87A, it will be powered whenever this one is not powered. And then whenever the relay goes into the on position, you have this that's getting power, and pin 87A now does not have power anymore. So that's the basics of how you wire either a positive or a negative signal to control the relay and turn on whatever device that you want to turn on with that system that's built in factory to your car. Again, there's a lot of caution with this because you can tap into the wrong wire and you can fry your car's computer, or even worse, you can cause a fire. So recapping all of this, this is the positive signal wiring, this is the negative signal wiring, off and on. When pins 85 and 86 are connected to where they're supposed to be, this one has a negative signal, then this one has the positive wire going straight to the battery. Then pin 30 from the battery. And whenever this gets power, that switch flips over. And pin 87 now has power, and so does your device that you're also powering. If you're using a positive signal to control whatever device that you're powering on, then whenever this switches from the off to the on position, there's already a ground. So pins 85 and 86 both have the positive and the negative, which that can be wired either way. 85 can be positive or negative as long as 86 is the opposite of what 85 is. When that happens, this electromagnet opens this gate over on this side, and when it's off, it closes the gate. When it's on, the gate's open, and this device now has power. So thanks a lot for watching. If you have any ideas for relays that you want to see that isn't in one of my other videos, then please leave it down in the comments below, and make sure you like, subscribe, share this with your friends, all of that stuff that everybody does on YouTube. So thanks a lot for watching, guys, and God bless.